Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're in the office this evening. It is a late session, Sunday evening, and I'm here with a cup of tea, a cup of black Barry's tea, may I add. I am about 18 weeks out, and I'm not taking any little shortcuts. A big thing. I was actually watching a video earlier on as well from Jack Eagles. I love his videos on his prep, with things like, trying to get stuff done every single day, when you don't want to do them. All you have to really think to yourself is there is someone else doing it, like that cardio session, especially cardio, and if I'm missing steps and stuff like that, there is someone else doing it. Someone that I'm going to be up on stage against is doing it. Most of the people that I'm going to be on stage against probably haven't even started prep. I'm just a fat little bastard. But you've seen the title of the video. I want to get hands-on with this one and break down and give you as much of what I would say is the best approach if you are starting or trying to and looking into starting a diet for the summer or a cut for the summer. And we're doing it nice and early. Obviously, we're mid-February now at this point, and the best advice to start us off, I'm going to have, stages of advice here, and we're going to go into detail. So grab yourself a cup of tea, grab yourself a can of white Monster for this one, and sit back. Oh, fucking hot. And we're going to go deep into it. But the best thing I can say to you, why I'm making it right now, is to start early. The very, very most important thing, and especially people who are not used to it and not really experienced with dieting, is to start early and give yourself plenty of time, right? If you have a holiday coming up, or, even if there is no holiday there, or, and you just want to be lean for summer, you've never been lean for summer before, and you want to guarantee that you're going to be lean for summer, because it's, happened to me numerous times, and everything I speak about on this channel is from my experiences and stuff that I wish I had known myself over the last 10 years of doing it, and making the mistakes firsthand myself, is giving yourself enough time to make sure that you can guarantee yourself that you're going to be, lean enough for summer, and you can walk around confident with the top off. Like, you don't want to spend another summer in the pool with a t-shirt on. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to do that, and there's no worse feeling. And I know a lot of skinnier lads and lads who've been skinny growing up or lean growing up their whole life won't be able to relate to that, but I know the lads or the girls who can relate to the fact of, not being comfortable with a top off in the summer, whether that's jumping in a lake, jumping in a pool, anywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's just not comfortable. And again, a lot of the time it is our own fault at the end of the day, and that's something that we have to understand. We put ourselves in this position. I know the outside variables and factors from growing up mightn't have been, the most advantageous for us to be leaner than we are now, or leaner than we have been before, but it is what it is. We're here now. We can make the decisions ourselves. Chances are, if you're watching this, you're able to make a good decision or a bad decision, and we're trying to make good decisions here now moving forward. And this is what that channel is all about, and this is why I like making these videos, is try and help you as much as possible, and obviously document everything that I do to try and help you along the way. So again, hit that bloody subscribe button, lad. I'm not too sure which side it's on or where it is, but if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button. I'm trying my best to keep these up as consistent as possible. So, first and foremost, give yourself enough time. If we're starting here now in February, and summer starts in May, the weather is picking up. Like, you can even see it outside now. There's a stretch in the evenings. The weather, okay, over the next couple of months, you're going to notice the weather, there is going to be some of those nice days, some nice weekends. You're going to want to be, getting in better shape for those nice weekends where the lads might text you and say, come on, we're going here, come on, we're going there. There's been multiple summers where I've gotten those texts and I'm like, whereas I would have liked to have been able to be like, fuck yeah, come on, let's do it, let's go. Do you know what I mean? When you're younger and you just go and do those random things on a random day, especially during summer, So that's the main thing, is to give ourselves enough time. Jumping on in deeper then, obviously, is to have a goal, like with no goal and with no date. I know I'm just saying to you, obviously, be ready for summer, but without a date and without that specific timeline to be working off, it's very easy for us to kind of, get sidetracked and kind of slip into bad habits again with certain things. You know, it's happened to me again multiple times. So again, I would set a date, you know, a special occasion, even if it's not a holiday, that you need to be in shape by, that you need to be at your best. Like for me this year, it's obviously a show. So like that is a huge goal, and obviously I need to be as shredded as I possibly can for that and be at my possible best for that. So there is no slipping up here and there. But for you, it might be a holiday. For you, it might be, you know, who knows, a festival. Something that gives you a reason to get in the shape that you want to get into. And if you haven't something booked, I would probably book something. Because again, a date is only a date. If there's something on that date, chances of you doing it are a little bit higher again, okay? They're the first two things, is having a date and also starting early, starting now. Okay, realistically, you'd want to be starting now. You know, that time is just going to fly by. If we leave it another 4 weeks, we leave it another 6, 8 weeks because we're being lazy and we can't just commit to it, we're going to be chasing our tails. Okay, on to, again, training and diet then. Obviously, the big drivers for what's going to change our physique, all right, outside of time. Okay, we obviously want to set up a training plan that we're going to be able to stick to and stick to religiously every single week, and still be able to progress that as well, okay? So chances are, if you're watching this, you probably already have a training plan. You might already be training consistently. You're just looking to get into a cut. Absolutely fine. Keep your training the exact same. There's no difference in training, okay? We want to continue to grow, right, in getting stronger across the board with every single lift that we're doing inside the gym, all right? The last couple of weeks of a cut, like I've clients here going through, you know, the last nitty-gritty couple of weeks of the cut. Some training sessions are starting to, you know, stagnate and they're not progressing. The main thing you'll notice with lifts straight away is like your pushing movements. They'll start to come back a little bit and they won't be as good when, you know, you get to that point of nearing the end of a diet, which is absolutely fine. But for the most part, training should continue to progress as much as possible, and your aim for that, to maintain the muscle that you already have on the frame, is to continue getting stronger every single week inside the gym, okay? Keep that up and keep training like you would in a bulk. Keep training as you normally do if you're not in a cut. All right, my training split, 5 days a week, remain the exact same from coming out of the gaining phase into the cut. Pretty much everything stayed the exact same. Volume can be moved around then as time goes along, if needs be. Chances are for a lot of us, it doesn't need to be changed. All right, main thing there is keeping everything the exact same. You don't need to be doing more reps or more sets and lighter weight, all right? That's the biggest load of bollocks. You just need to continue progressing, continue getting stronger on every single lift. Keep your sets, keep your reps the exact same, all right? Our diet is obviously the most important thing. Once we've got training covered, we'll be doing more videos. Obviously, you would have seen the push day that myself and Don filmed as well last week. Going a little bit deeper into the training. If you like those style of videos, let me know as well. We will continue making them more raw, in-depth training videos. I know a lot of this channel is obviously on the nutrition side of things and, you know, more so based around everything, but we will do a little bit more in depth with the training. The diet is obviously that one thing that, as I always say, carries and follows us around all day long, from start when we wake up till the end of the day, right? When we start eating until we finish eating. You want to set up a diet that you're going to be able to adhere to and sustain every single day for the duration of this diet, okay? Obviously, as the diet goes along, changes will need to be made. So what we need to make sure is that we start it at a point where we still have room to move at the point of where we need to go. So what I'm saying is we need to be starting the diet at a point where we have enough room to move so that we can get all the fat off. We don't want to have the diet coming down, 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 but we still have all this amount of fat to get off, if you know what I mean. We want to be able to progress that diet all the way until all the fat is off, okay? Because what will happen, a lot of people, is too aggressive here at the start. The weight is coming down, but we have a lot more weight to come down, whereas food can only come down to here, and that's the rock bottom, but we have all this way to go. And where do you go from here when food is at rock bottom? The only way back is up. So a lot of people, you'll notice, it takes a lot longer because they have to go back up and work their way back down. All right, we want to start that at a point that's very manageable. All right, a big thing that I notice a lot of the time that you'll, you know, see slower progress is if you've been bulking on high calories and you think taking away 300, 400, 500 calories from that high amount of calories is going to get you in a deficit. It isn't. So realistically, for a lot of us, there's a big chunk of calories that probably need to come away at the very start of our cut to like get us close or into a deficit straight away. You don't want to waste time, you know, for the first 4 or 6 weeks of titrating calories down to, you know, 6 weeks later finally get into a deficit. You want to get into a deficit as quick as you possibly can, given the time frame that we're working off here. Okay, so again, that's only for a certain type of person. For another person who we haven't been doing anything, okay, the main thing for us is obviously getting on a structured diet, you know, and tracking those calories every single day to see where we land, right? And that might be maintenance for you, it might be slightly above maintenance, might be below maintenance. Get on those calories, like use a calorie calculator, find out what calories you need for your body to stay the same weight every single day. Okay, my weight has stayed the same for a week. I've eaten the exact same calories. I've tracked my weight. I've tracked the calories. It's stayed the same for a week. Okay, maybe give it 2 weeks. If you don't have time, you don't have patience to give it 2 weeks. Okay, I've given it a week. It hasn't moved. I'm going to drop my calories here. Okay, I'm going to drop my calories by another 200. Might be plenty. Okay, go along throughout that week. Weight starts dropping down nicely. You start to see little things happening, you know. Okay, apologies. SD card was full from my rambling and my waffling, but things start to move. We've taken away 200-300 calories. Okay, perfect. Run that for as long as possible until weight stalls and you don't see changes happening. Okay, big problem here, big problem I used to have is just going phew, slashing the calories, and again getting to the point where it's unsustainable. I can't adhere to it. Back to square one again. Our main thing is being able to start this diet and being able to complete it with not much fuckery in the middle. Do you know what I mean? That's diet, okay? I don't want to, you know, ramble on for too long here. Again, more and more as we go, you know, I'll go deeper into different topics and everything, but, you know, look at my full days of eating, see what way to set up the food when it comes to diet. Like, we want to structure that around our day that suits us best, okay? If that means not eating in the morning and pushing your food a little bit out in the day so you can sustain the amount of calories that you need to be on and have a little bit of extra food to play with towards the end of the night, absolutely fine. Right? We don't need a breakfast, realistically. Okay, some people need a breakfast, some people don't. Okay, but what I find the biggest problem with a lot of people is not hydrating themselves in the morning. So the first and foremost that you want to do when you wake up out that bed in the morning is hydrate the shit out of yourself. And it might be ugly, you know, and this is what I tell clients a lot, is getting the body moving in the morning and like getting that first pint of water into you. But it wakes you up, right? Straight down to the kitchen, pint of water, back the throat, okay? Get that into you, half a pint of water gone already, all right? I know people who drink half a pint of water throughout the entire day, right? They take their first sip of water at the night when they're absolutely gasping and they're dehydrated, all right? Not the way to go. A hydrated body is a healthier body, and a healthier body is going to be a more responsive body. A more responsive body is going to make more progress, all right? That's the way we want to be looking at a lot of these things, okay? And I know this is, a general overview. This is me on a Sunday night rambling, trying to give out a little bit of information. That's the way I want you to look at this. And a podcast is something that I'm really toying with again at the minute, of trying to bring something good when it comes to a podcast. And I know, you know, there's a small, minute amount of people watching these videos, but I do appreciate every single person that does. And again, whoever gets something from this is exactly who it's for, okay? We don't want the tea going cold either, so hydrate in the morning. You might push the food out a little bit later in the day, depending on how much food you're on. All right, structure the food that is going to make it the most adherable for you every single day. Okay, and focus on that day. Focus on today. Nail the diet today, and don't worry about the diet on Friday. Okay, every single day is important here for us. Okay, because every single day that passes by is a day closer to that goal and a day closer to that end date of where we want to be. All right, every single day is very important here. Okay, and anyone who tells you it isn't, it is. All right, we've diet sorted. We're on to movement and cardio and steps. Okay, first and foremost, steps and cardio, two different tools. Right, steps is what we're doing on a daily basis. Me moving around this room, me walking down to the kitchen, me going to the toilet, me walking the dog, me walking around the gym. Steps. Okay, now steps, we might go out for a walk to get our steps in. If we haven't got many steps in during the day, whether at work, whether we're at school, whether we're in college, right? We might go for a walk, but that's still not cardio. Cardio is direct cardio, direct work, okay? The way I work cardio is time-based, of course, okay? So we set the cardio amount of time that we need to do. Within that amount of time that we're doing, it's based off heart rate, okay? Because if you base it off heart rate, it's always going to be the same, okay? I work my heart rate up to 150. At the moment, I'm at 165 beats per minute because I'm a lot fatter, and it'll probably and hopefully stay that way as much as possible. 165 beats per minute for that full duration of cardio. That's my cardio session. Okay, that means it's going to be the exact same next time that I'm at 165 beats per minute for that 30 minutes. All right, and as you get leaner, as you get fitter, that is going to be harder to get to, which means your cardio is going to stay hard and just as hard the whole time. Whereas what I notice a big problem is, and where you start to notice that that amount of cardio isn't doing much for you, and you know it's not making progress as quick as possible for you, is you get lazier. Energy levels are a little bit lower, you know, you start to move a little bit slower on that cardio tool that you're using, whether it be a bike, cross trainer, treadmill, Stairmaster, whatever it might be. You're moving slower. That 30 minutes isn't the same 30 minutes it was 6 weeks ago. Isn't the same 30 minutes it was 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So just make sure you have that there. Heart rate is the best way you can track your cardio to keep it the most consistent. How much we need to start off with, you know, week one, I would be looking at minimal amount of cardio. You know, sometimes with a lot of people when they're starting off, I don't put them on any cardio. Like, we're trying to get everything else right first before we start layering that in. Like, we're looking at all these things as tools, and cardio is a big tool for us here in our deficit and in our cut. Then I might look at 5 20-minute sessions, right? Every single person is going to be different. You know, every single person's day looks different, their week looks different, how much they can get done. But we want to try and get a good bit of work done here. 5 20-minute sessions, 100 minutes across the week. We might do that for a week, we might do that for 2 weeks, then we might bump it up, you know, we might do 6 30-minute sessions. We might do 5 30-minute sessions. Then we might be up at 5 45-minute sessions. Then we're at 7 45-minute sessions. Then we're at 7 60-minute sessions. And that's over a good period of time, but you see the way things move, right? Cardio is going to go north, and chances are a lot of us are going to have to do a lot of cardio by the end of that diet, okay? I will be doing a lot of cardio come the end of my diet, and I'm well equipped for it now after the last couple of weeks of doing 30 minutes every single day. You get used to it, and it doesn't get easier, to be honest. You just have to get used to it, and you have to lock in and understand someone else is doing it. Someone else is going to be leaner because I'm not doing it. So I need to do it. Okay, that's the way you need to think about it. You know, there is going to be someone else there this summer who's going to be trying to do the exact same thing as you. And if they're showing up every single day on the days that you don't want to show up and you're like, will I show up? They're going to be lean this summer. Are you going to be lean this summer? And that's what you have to think to yourself. You know, I need to do this cardio session. You know, do that fucking cardio session and tick that box and tell me you don't feel 100 times better from doing it compared to hiding away, lying on the bed, lying on the couch, knowing that you didn't do that cardio session, telling yourself you're going to make up for that cardio session tomorrow and do double, but you're not, because that tomorrow turns into the next day, turns into the next day. Then you're rolling into the new week where you should be doing even more, and it just starts to get messy. All right, so that's the way cardio would move. Steps then, again, very person dependent. Steps, we'll build them up slowly. Another one that, you know, we keep at a set amount, and if needs be, when cardio is at that very high point, we can start building them up. Steps are very low impact. Me moving around here, walking around, very low impact. But the difference between a high amount of steps, a very low amount of steps is huge. The amount of calories we burn from moving around, doing those steps every single day is huge. So don't undervalue the power of steps and how many calories they burn as well. Because at the end of the day, when we're looking at our calorie deficit here, right, we're doing what we can to continue making that deficit bigger and bigger and bigger to lose fat across this time frame, right? That calorie deficit, okay, is here right now when we're starting off, okay, and we're losing fat on that, right? We're no longer losing fat anymore. We need to bring that calorie deficit bigger, right? More cardio, okay? Not losing any more fat. A little bit less food, move more fat, right? Fat loss stalls, again, more cardio. One week we might do a mix of two. We might do more cardio, less food. That deficit gets bigger and bigger every single week. Now, the one thing I would say to you is get the most you can from the least, right? So lose the most amount of weight you can from eating the most amount of food. Lose the most amount of weight you can from doing the least amount of cardio. But there's a fine line in doing that and making sure you're doing it at a quick enough rate to the point that you have enough time here on your side so that we can be patient with this thing moving here and us getting leaner. But we're not getting too close and being too patient, that we're getting closer and closer to that deadline and to that goal where we're not going to meet it. We're not going to get to that position that we want to, and the physique isn't going to look the way we want it to look. Okay, so there we have our steps, we have our cardio, we have our diet. Right, they're the basis. And things are going to get harder as the weeks go along. We might start looking for, things to make life a little bit easier for us. And that's where like little tools and little hacks can come in, right? All these things are very, very simple. There's nothing stupid here. Nothing costs us really any money or anything like that. But they're just ways that I've learned over the years to manage and cope with diets a lot easier. And they're just small little things that you're going to pick up on the way. Again, it's all going to come from experience. Every single diet that you do should get a little bit easier. And if this is your first, I want to make it as easy as possible for you. If this is your second and it's still just as hard, let's try and make it as easy as it can be. All right. Again, we've got the big rocks kind of laid out there with our diet, our training, our cardio, our steps, to make life easier, when hunger starts to pick up and everything like that. Obviously being smart with spacing our food out throughout the day so we're not going to bed at 11 o'clock. We've eaten our last meal at fucking 4 o'clock because we were starving and we just wolfed our food throughout the day. You want to be spacing that food out the day so you can not eat too close to bed, and have that food absolutely stuck to your throat, but eating close enough to bed where we're not going to bed hungry. Like, you never want to be going to bed hungry. You're just going to have a poor sleep. You're going to wake up the next day after a poor sleep. You're going to be even more hungry. Cravings are going to be kicking in. We want to be smart with that. So again, possibly shifting the food further away from the start of the day towards the end of the day, but being smart and spacing it out is our best bet. One thing that you might have done before, and what I did multiple years, only up until like recent years, is like really pushing that food close to the end of the day. What you'll notice is if you space that food well enough with, little and often throughout the day, your hunger levels are, a lot more kind of normalized throughout the day, throughout the entire week. Instead of being hungry throughout the entire day, wolfing down a load of food at night, going to bed nice and full, if we're eating regularly throughout the day, our hunger is, nice and stable throughout the day, the whole time, which also means our energy levels are going to be nice and stable throughout the day. Like, we don't want to be here all fucking day long when we're trying to do work and we're trying to do everything that we need to do and then have all that food at night and be fucking up here when we don't need to be. You know what I mean? So just being smart with that. Again, spacing food out throughout the day is the best thing that I can possibly tell you to do. I'm speaking for fucking another 11 minutes here. But as people tell me, I'm good at waffling, so we're keeping this raw as well. I'm just trying to give you as much as I can throughout these next number of months. Through good quality and, through me sitting down here, do you know what I mean? And I'm running through lots of different things. And if people watch it, then good. Otherwise, it's just me getting shit off my chest. Do you know what I mean? So little hacks, little things that you can use is like liquids. Things that I use throughout the day. Again, teas, right? Tea, coffee, a lot of water. Okay, fill yourself up on water. You're going to feel better from being really hydrated. Okay, like I'm talking a lot of water here, right? Me, at the minute, between 6-7 liters of water, which might sound like a lot, but again, it's person dependent. Again, I wouldn't be gorging water, especially depending on the size you are. Fair enough, if you're 120 kilo, you're going to be able to take on a good bit of water. But if you're, 60, 70, 80, 90 kilo, I wouldn't be killing yourself off with water either. Do you know what I mean? Just to the point that, you're well hydrated, again, it's a good way to manage hunger, is fill yourself up on water. And if water is something that you don't like, my waddy. I drink a lot of my waddy every single day. It's not all water I'm drinking. Like, I do like to start the day with water, but a lot of the day contains a lot of my waddy as well, right? Monster. Okay, I utilize a Monster every single day. There's nothing wrong with these drinks in moderation. Again, some days I might have 2. if needs be. You know, if it's a very long day and I haven't it spaced out exactly the way I want, I might utilise another Monster later on in the day. 0 calorie drinks then, my Coke Zeros, absolutely fine as well. 1 to 2 of them a day, no issues. Again, as the diet goes along, there are things that we can lean into a little bit more. I wouldn't be filling my day with them either, but again, nothing wrong with a few of them, to be completely honest with you. If this is a case of us, you know, making sure that we need to adhere to this, nothing wrong with a few of them. They're very enjoyable, nice and tasty, and it's just something nice there for us to enjoy at the same time. That's not, you know, making us waste calories or anything like that. It's just enjoying a few little bits and bobs like that throughout the day to get us from the start of the day to the end of the day and get another day done successfully. The main thing I want you to focus on every single day of this diet you're going to go through is getting today done successfully, right? I have a whiteboard and it has a countdown of how many days I have until stage. Right now we're at 130 odd. And on that whiteboard has my cardio. If I did my cardio that day, I'll tick that box. If my steps, tick that box at the end of the day. Was my food perfect? Tick that box at the end of the day. Is work finished? Tick that box at the end of the day. And even by just having those boxes there in front of me on that whiteboard, ticking them, counting down another day the next morning, it makes life easier. And it's just those small little wins for us. And stack those every single day for 7 days. That's 1 week of the diet done. Right? Watch how fast that week goes. Right? There is going to be slower weeks than others. Okay? And weeks that are harder than others. But look how quick that week goes. If we have a 12 or 16 week diet, watch how quick those 12 or 16 weeks is going to go. And if we're not nailing things bang, 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 you know, we're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, fine. Thursday is a fuck up. All right, we're trying to get back on a Friday, but the whole weekend then is shit. All right, that's 3 out of the 7 days that were good. The rest of the week, nah. All right, we've lost out in a full week there. All right, we might have overeaten to the point where, you know, we're going backwards. Right, set your diet up to be adherable. Number one, sustainable. All right, we want to be able to sustain the approach that we're taking here over the next span of however many weeks. And then lastly, will be enjoyable, right? They're the 3 that I'll always say is you're able to adhere to it, you're able to sustain it, and most importantly, able to enjoy it at the same time. There will be weeks where the enjoyment level might be a little bit lower. The sustainability might also be a little bit lower, but we need to be able to adhere to it, okay? And if we're able to adhere to it, we're going to be successful. Keep it as sustainable as you can for as long as you possibly can. Keep it as enjoyable for as long as you possibly can. And you will be successful this year on reaching the desired physique that you have. And that's all I have for tonight. I'm definitely going to go to bed. You don't want to know what time it is. Tomorrow is check-in day. That is a very, very good point I would say to you as well, is have check-ins. If that's not with a coach, have check-ins with yourself every single week. Right? Progress pictures are going to be the most valuable thing for you here. If you're seeing pictures changing every single week, right? My check-in is on a Monday. Set your check-in day on a Monday, right? If you're taking a picture here on a Monday morning, okay, you're starting your diet, you know what, I might post this tomorrow. You're taking a picture today, right? Next week, take a picture, see if anything happens. Chances are there mightn't be much happening in the first week. Chances are there mightn't be much happening in the first 2 weeks, right? But 3 weeks in, you see changes in that physique of yours, you're going to be like, fuck yeah, I want to see changes coming next week, right? You're going to stick to it for another week. Bang, changes are coming even quicker in week 4, right? Bang, week 5, week 6, week 7. Week by week, you're going to see changes coming. And every week that goes by, those changes are going to come a lot quicker. And that's where the motivation comes from, lad. From you being disciplined and sticking to it on a daily basis to get to the point where you're starting to see results, where the motivation comes in. And that motivation isn't always going to be there, but it is going to give you a kick up the arse to keep going. And that's why progress pictures are so, so important for us when we have a goal that is revolved around the physique. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I know maybe a little bit of waffling, maybe a bit of rambling, but I like getting my thoughts out on here. You know, I was sitting there this evening and thinking about a lot of stuff, and I wanted to get out on camera for you. I know a lot of people say get it out on paper. I do love paper, like I do love writing down, like I much prefer writing stuff down than I do like typing stuff out. But a bit of a mix. My favorite thing is just to get it out on here, definitely. So, yeah, we'll catch up during the week. Drop the video a like, comment down below if there's anything you want to see, anything that you want to see in particular. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll chat to you in the next one.